watched my boss's children sit like beautiful broken dolls in their golden wheelchairs, and I knew right then, someone had been lying to them their whole lives. My name is Grace, and 3 weeks ago I became a nanny to twins who couldn't walk, couldn't talk, and according to every doctor in the city, never would. But here's what nobody knew yet. I'd seen this before, and what I was about to do would either save these children or destroy my entire life. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the day I walked through those massive iron gates. The Peterson mansion looked like something from a movie, all white marble and glass windows that stretched up 3 floors high. I'd taken the bus from my tiny apartment across town, clutching my fake references and praying they wouldn't check too hard. I needed this job, needed it like air. My rent was 3 months late, my fridge had been empty for 2 days, and I'd sold everything I owned except the clothes on my back and my mother's old watch. Hey friends, thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to comment where you are watching from. Someone close to you might be watching too. Like, share, subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss a story. Make sure to watch till the very end, because the final twist is something you definitely don't want to miss. So let's continue. The twins were 4 years old, Lily and Jake. When Mrs. Peterson first showed me to the playroom, my heart didn't just crack, it shattered into 1,000 pieces. 2 perfect little faces. Blonde curls on Lily that caught the light like spun gold. Messy brown hair on Jake that stuck up in the back, both strapped into fancy wheelchairs that probably cost more than everything I'd ever owned combined. Both staring at nothing with eyes that seemed to look straight through the world, through me, through everything. They don't respond to much, Mrs. Peterson said, her voice flat and tired, like she'd said these words 1,000 times before. She was beautiful in that cold way rich people sometimes are. Perfect hair, perfect clothes, perfect makeup that couldn't quite hide the darkness under her eyes. The doctors say it's a genetic condition. Their muscles don't work right. Their brains don't process speech. They're here, but they're not really here, do you understand? I nodded, but I couldn't stop staring at the children. Jake's fingers twitched. Just a tiny movement, barely noticeable, but I saw it. We've had 17 nannies in 2 years, Mrs. Peterson continued, and I heard something sharp in her voice, anger maybe, or fear. Most quit within a month. It's hard. They need everything done for them, everything, feeding, bathing, changing, and they never smile, never laugh, never show any sign they even know you're there. It's like caring for beautiful statues that breathe. I understand, I lied, my throat tight, because I didn't understand, not yet. But something in my gut was screaming that this was wrong, all wrong. That first week was hell. Mr. Peterson James was barely home. Big shot businessman, always flying somewhere, always on his phone during the rare dinners he attended. When he looked at his children, I saw something that made my stomach turn. Not love, not even pity, just disappointment. Like they were investments that had failed to pay off. Mrs. Peterson, Linda, drank. Not obvious drunk drinking, but the kind where you refill your coffee cup from a flask you think nobody sees. By noon, her words got softer, slower. By dinner, they got mean, sharp as knives. "They're vegetables," she said one night, thinking I'd gone upstairs. I was standing just outside the dining room, frozen, my hand on the banister. Beautiful, expensive vegetables. Do you know what people say? They whisper. They look at me like I'm cursed, like I did something wrong when I was pregnant, like this is punishment for something. "Linda, please," James started, but his voice was weak. "Don't. Just don't. I carried them for 9 months. I did everything right, everything the doctors said. Organic food, no alcohol, prenatal yoga, all of it. And look what I got. Look what God gave me." I climbed the stairs quietly, my hands shaking so hard I had to grip the railing. Went to the twins' room where they sat in their beds, propped up by pillows like dolls, staring at the ceiling. I sat down on the floor between them, my back against Jake's bed, and I cried. Just sat there and cried for these babies who had a mother that called them vegetables. For these perfect little souls trapped in bodies everyone said didn't work. "Hey," I finally whispered, wiping my eyes. "I'm Grace. I'm going to take care of you now, and I promise I won't give up on you no matter what anyone says. Nothing. No response, not even a blink. But Jake's fingers twitched again. And this time, watching closely, I saw it wasn't random. It happened right when I said promise. My breath caught. The second week, I started testing things, being careful, being smart. I'd snuck into James's office one night when the house was asleep and read their medical files, every doctor's note, every test result, every diagnosis. Page after page of medical language that all said the same thing. Hopeless, unreachable, permanent. But something felt wrong. The pieces didn't fit together right, like a puzzle forced into the wrong shape. The doctors said the twins had a rare neuromuscular disorder, that their brains couldn't send signals to their bodies, that they felt no pain, understood no words, lived in some fog between consciousness and nothing. But when I played music, soft, gentle piano music, Lily's breathing changed, slowed down, matched the rhythm perfectly. When I read stories, Jake's eyes moved. Tiny movements, so small you'd miss them if you weren't looking. But they followed the book. Left to right. Down the page. These children weren't gone. They were trapped. Locked inside themselves, screaming in silence while the world called them empty. I started keeping a notebook hidden under my mattress, every reaction, every tiny movement, every sign of life. The way Lily's pulse quickened when I sang, the way Jake's breathing changed when he heard his father's voice in the hallway, the way they both seemed calmer when I held their hands. On day 9, I did something that could have gotten me fired or arrested or worse. I took them outside without permission, not in the backyard where Linda could see from her window with her afternoon flask. Out the side gate, down the forgotten path that led to the little pond nobody used anymore. I pushed their wheelchairs across grass and dirt, talking the whole time. My heart pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. I know you can hear me, I said, my voice shaking. I don't know why you can't move or talk, but I know you're in there, and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to help you. I swear to God I'm going to help you. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink and purple. I positioned their chairs so they could see it, this beautiful thing. Maybe the first beautiful thing they'd seen in who knows how long. And then I saw it, saw what changed everything. A single tear rolled down Lily's cheek, slow, perfect, real. My heart stopped, actually stopped, then started again, so fast I thought I might pass out. Lily? I knelt in front of her wheelchair, my hands on her tiny knees. Lily, can you hear me? Baby, if you can hear me, blink. Please, please blink. Nothing, but another tear fell. Then another. Silent crying from a child who supposedly felt nothing. Oh God, I whispered, and I started crying too. Oh God, what did they do to you? What did they do to you both? I looked at Jake. His eyes were wet too. Both of them, crying together, trapped and aware and suffering. I'm going to fix this, I told them, taking both their hands. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to fix this. You're not alone anymore, you hear me? You're not alone. That night I couldn't sleep, paced my tiny apartment for hours, my mind racing so fast I felt dizzy. Something was deeply, horribly wrong. Those children weren't sick, they were being kept that way. Someone was doing this to them, but how? Why? What kind of monster hurts their own babies? I thought about the medicine cabinet in their bathroom, the 6 different bottles Linda gave them every day, measuring carefully, writing down times and doses in a little notebook. The special formula they were fed through tubes because they supposedly couldn't swallow. I thought about Linda's drinking, her coldness, the way she looked at the twins sometimes, not with love but with something darker. Control. Ownership. The pieces started clicking together, ugly and sharp and devastating. By week 3, I'd made a decision that would either save us all or ruin everything. I stopped giving them their medicine, not all at once, that would be too obvious, and Linda watched everything like a hawk. But I started diluting it, bit by bit, replacing some with water from the bathroom tap. Started feeding them real food, tiny amounts of mashed banana and applesauce mixed into their formula where nobody would notice. Every day I watched for changes, prayed for changes. Terrified I was wrong, terrified I was making things worse. "What are you doing?" The voice behind me almost made me drop the syringe. Medicine splashed on my hand. I spun around. James stood in the doorway of the twins' room, still in his business suit, his face unreadable in the dim light. I was just... My mind went blank. This was it. Fired. Maybe arrested. Maybe worse. "I've been watching you." He stepped closer, and I saw his eyes were red, like he'd been crying. "The cameras, I see everything you do with them, every single thing." My blood turned to ice. The cameras. I'd forgotten about the cameras. "I'm sorry," I started, but he held up a hand. "Don't apologize." His voice cracked, broke right down the middle. "Because yesterday I saw my son move his hand, really move it, on purpose, reaching for a toy. For the first time in 4 years, my son reached for something." The words hung between us, heavy as stones. "You knew," I whispered. "You knew something was wrong." James moved to sit on Jake's bed, his shoulders sagging like he was carrying the weight of the world. I suspected. For months, I've suspected. "But Linda, she's not well, Grace. Hasn't been since they were born. The doctors, the medicine, all of it. She controls everything. She won't let me question anything. Won't let me get second opinions or change doctors or stop any treatment. And I've been too much of a coward to push, too afraid of losing them completely." "What happened to them?" I asked, moving closer. "What really happened?" His hands trembled. "They were normal babies. Perfect. Healthy. 10 fingers, 10 toes, strong lungs. They cried and ate and slept like babies should. But Linda," she struggled. "Postpartum depression, the doctor said. But it was more. She became obsessed with them being perfect, with controlling every single thing about them, every feeding, every nap, every sound they made. When they started getting sick at 6 months, I didn't question it at first. The doctors were the best, the medicine was expensive, everything seemed right, but they never got better, only worse, weaker, quieter, and Linda seemed almost satisfied, like this was what she wanted, like she preferred them this way." The words made me physically sick. I gripped the edge of Jake's wheelchair to stay standing. "She's been poisoning them," I said. It wasn't a question. "Not poison exactly, but the medicine, I think it's wrong. Too much. Dangerous combinations. I hired a private investigator to look into the primary doctor. He lost his license 3 years ago for overprescribing sedatives to children. Linda's been paying him cash under the table to keep treating them. Why didn't you stop her?" The words came out harsh, angry. "I tried." His voice broke completely, and tears started falling. "I tried to get them real help, but Linda has legal custody, medical power of attorney. In the divorce papers, she made sure of it. If I push too hard, if I go to the authorities without proof, she'll disappear with them, and I'll never see them again. She's threatened it 100 times. I've been gathering evidence, building a case, looking for someone who could help, and then you showed up." He looked at me with desperate hope. "You care about them, really care. I can see it. And you're figuring out what I've been too scared to admit." I looked at the twins, sleeping now, their small faces peaceful. My heart ached. "I need your help," I told him. "If we're going to save them, really save them, I need you to trust me completely. And I need you to be brave." He met my eyes. "Tell me what to do." Over the next week, we became conspirators. Partners in a dangerous game where the stakes were 2 innocent lives. James kept Linda busy. Trips to the city, shopping, spa days, expensive lunches with friends. Anything to get her away from the house for hours. I worked with the twins every second she was gone. No more medicine. Real food, bit by bit. Gentle physical therapy that I learned from YouTube videos at night, sitting on my apartment floor, taking notes until my hand cramped. I talked to them constantly, played music, read books, treated them like the aware, intelligent children I knew they were. And slowly, like flowers opening after a long, brutal winter, they came back to life. Jake first. His fingers started moving with purpose, grabbing things, holding on. Then his toes curled when I tickled his feet. His eyes began to track movement, to focus on faces, to show emotion, curiosity, joy, even frustration when he couldn't do something. The first time he smiled, really smiled at a funny face I made, I cried for an hour. Lily took longer, and every day she didn't respond I felt my hope dying a little. But I kept trying, kept believing, and when she finally came back, she came back fierce and strong. Her first real movement was to grab my hand and squeeze it so tight it hurt, and I laughed and cried at the same time. "I've got you," I whispered to them both, holding their small hands. "I've got you both. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay." But Linda was getting suspicious. "They look different," she said one morning, studying the twins with narrowed eyes. She'd been drinking already. I could smell it. "Their color is better. Their eyes are brighter. Their muscle tone looks stronger. Are you doing something different?" "Just lots of fresh air," I said carefully, "and I've been talking to them more, playing music. The doctors say stimulation can't hurt." Her jaw tightened. "The doctors say they can't process stimulation, that it's wasted effort." "Maybe, but it makes me feel better. Makes me feel like I'm doing something." She stared at me for a long moment. "Don't get attached, Grace. They're not your children. They're mine. They'll always be mine." The possessiveness in her voice made my skin crawl. That night, I heard her on the phone in her study. I stood outside the door, barely breathing, listening to every word. "I want them back on the full doses," she was saying, her voice hard and cold. "I don't care what you said before, they're getting too alert. Their nanny is doing something, I don't know what, but people will start asking questions. No, she doesn't know anything. She's nobody. Just some poor girl from across town who needed money." My hands clenched into fists. Nobody. Just some girl. "Double the sedatives starting tomorrow," Linda continued. "I want them quiet again. Still. Manageable. The way they're supposed to be. The way they need to stay. I can't have them changing. I can't have them getting better." The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. She didn't want them to get better. She wanted them sick. Wanted them dependent. Wanted them under her complete control forever. I'd heard enough. More than enough. I ran upstairs to James's room, pounded on the door until he opened it, confused and worried. "She's going to hurt them worse," I said, shaking so hard my teeth chattered. "Tomorrow, she's planning to increase everything. Double the sedatives. We're out of time. We have to act now." His jaw tightened and I saw something shift in his eyes, a decision being made, a line being crossed. "Then we move tonight." "What?" "I've been preparing. I have a lawyer, a safe house, medical experts ready to examine them. I was waiting for the right moment for enough evidence." He grabbed his phone. "This is it. This is the moment. We save them tonight or we lose them forever." Everything happened fast after that, too fast to think, only to act. James made calls. Within an hour, his lawyer arrived with police and an emergency protective order. Child services, medical personnel, cameras, recording devices. The house filled with people and noise and authority. Linda came down the stairs in her silk robe, eyes wide with shock and confusion. "What is this? James, what have you done? What's happening?" "What I should have done years ago," he said, and his voice was steady for the first time, strong. "The children are being removed from your care. Tonight. Right now." Her face went white, then red, then twisted into something ugly and terrifying. "You can't. I have custody. I have rights, medical rights, legal rights." "You have nothing," the lawyer said calmly, holding up papers. "We have evidence of medical abuse, falsified records, unlicensed practitioners, over-medication. We have recordings of your phone calls. We have witness testimony. Mrs. Peterson, you're going to need your own attorney. Immediately." Linda's eyes found me, standing near the twins' wheelchairs, my hands on their shoulders, and the hate in them was pure and burning. "You," she hissed, pointing at me with a shaking finger. "You did this. You nobody. You nothing. You came into my house, my family, and you destroyed everything. I saved them. I said quietly, and I was crying, but my voice didn't shake. From you. I saved them from you. She lunged at me like a wild animal, hands reaching for my throat, face twisted with rage. The police grabbed her, held her back as she screamed and fought. They're mine, I made them, I carried them, I can do what I want. They're my children, my property, nobody else's. The words kept coming, each one more damning than the last, all recorded, all witnessed by a dozen people. She'd lost all control, all pretense, and the monster underneath was showing itself clearly. They took her away, still screaming, still fighting, and the house went quiet. Too quiet. I turned to the twins, kneeling between their chairs, taking their hands. "Hey," I whispered. "It's okay now. You're safe. She can't hurt you anymore, I promise." And then Jake spoke. It was barely a sound, a whisper of a whisper, rough and unused. But it was a word, a real word. Grace. I stopped breathing. Everyone in the room froze, turned to stare. Jake. I touched his face with shaking fingers. "Did you just—" "Grace," he said again, clearer this time, and his eyes focused on mine with complete awareness. Complete love. "Thank you." I lost it. Completely broke down crying, laughing, holding his small hand against my face. "Oh, baby. Oh, my sweet baby boy. You talked." "You actually talked." Lily made a sound then too. Not a word yet, but a sound. A deliberate, purposeful sound. Her hand reached for me, actually reached, fingers grasping, and I took it and pressed it to my heart. "I'm here," I told them both through my tears. "I'm right here, always, forever. You're safe now." The medical team moved in, but James stopped them with a raised hand, tears streaming down his face. "Give them a minute, please. Just give them a minute." We sat there, the four of us, in the wreckage of that golden house where so much pain had happened, while two children who weren't supposed to walk or talk or be aware of anything proved the whole world wrong. The next months were hard. Healing isn't pretty or quick or easy. The twins went to a special facility where real doctors, good ones with kind eyes and gentle hands, helped them. Physical therapy every day, speech therapy, occupational therapy. Their muscles were weak from years of forced stillness. Their voices were rough from never being used. Their minds were bright but confused, trying to understand a world they'd only watched from behind a wall of medicine and lies. But they worked. God, did they work hard, fought for every movement, every word, every step. I was there every day. Moved into James's house officially, into the room next to the twins, so I could be close. James and I became a team, partners in their healing, united by love for these children. Jake walked first, 3 months after that terrible, beautiful night. Wobbly, uncertain, holding onto rails and hands and furniture, but walking. His first real steps were toward me in the therapy room, and I caught him when he fell into my arms. "I knew," he whispered into my shoulder, his small arms wrapped tight around my neck. "Always knew you'd save us. Heard everything you said, every word, every promise." I sobbed into his hair. Lily talked first, full sentences, like she'd been storing them up for years, polishing them, making them perfect. Her first real words to me were, "You're not nobody, Grace. You're everything. You're our everything." I couldn't respond, could only hold her and cry and thank God for this miracle. Linda went to prison. 3 years for child abuse, medical fraud, conspiracy. Her lawyer tried to paint her as mentally ill, a victim herself, but the evidence was too clear, too damning. The fake doctor testified against her to save himself. The medical record showed a pattern going back to when the twins were just 6 months old. She'd been making them sick on purpose, keeping them silent and still and dependent because she couldn't handle them being real, growing, changing children. Couldn't handle losing control, couldn't handle them becoming people instead of dolls she could pose and manipulate. James got full custody, quit his high-paying job to focus on the twins completely. We worked together, him and me, helping them heal, helping them grow. He'd been broken too, I realized. Broken by guilt and fear and his own cowardice. But he was trying to fix it now, trying to be the father they deserved. One day, about 6 months in, he asked me to stay permanently. "They love you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "They love you more than anything. And I don't know what we'd do without you. Don't know what I'd do without you. You're already their mother in every way that matters." I looked at him, really looked. Saw a man who'd lost everything and was trying to build something new and beautiful from the broken pieces. "I'll stay," I said. "Not because you're asking, because I can't imagine being anywhere else. They're mine. You're my family." He understood. And 3 months later, the adoption papers were signed. I was officially their mother. Grace Peterson, a family built on love and survival and second chances. A year later, the twins started regular school. I'll never forget that first day. Jake wore a blue backpack almost as big as him, stuffed with supplies we'd picked out together. Lily had picked out a yellow dress after trying on 10 others and made me braid her hair 3 times until it was exactly perfect. They were nervous. Their hands shook a little as we walked to the classroom, and Lily held onto my sleeve so tight I thought she'd tear the fabric. "What if they ask about before?" Lily whispered, her eyes wide with worry. "About why we're different, why we're behind in some things." I knelt down on the sidewalk, looked at both of them, these miracles, these fighters. "Then you tell them the truth, that you were sick but you got better, that you're strong, stronger than most people will ever be, that you survived something hard, something terrible, and now you're here. And you're amazing." "Will they believe us?" Jake asked, and I heard the fear in his voice. "Maybe, maybe not. But you'll know it's true, and I'll know it's true. Your dad will know, and that's what matters. You know who you are. You know what you survived. Nobody can take that from you." They looked at each other, that twin thing passing between them, a whole conversation in a glance. Then they nodded. Walked into that classroom holding hands, brave and scared and perfect. I watched them go, my heart so full it hurt, and felt James's hand find mine. "You gave them their lives back, Grace." "We all did," I said, watching through the classroom window as they took their seats. "All of us together. They saved themselves too. They never gave up, even when they had every reason to." But the truth? The real truth I carried in my heart like a secret treasure. I was the nobody from across town, the girl with fake references and empty pockets and nothing to offer but love. The one everyone overlooked, the one Linda thought meant nothing. And I'd saved 2 children that the whole world had given up on. 3 years later, I sat in the garden of that big house watching Jake and Lily play. Really play. Running, laughing, fighting over toys like normal kids, like they'd been doing it their whole lives. They were 7 now, thriving in school, making friends, living the childhood that had been stolen from them. Lily came running over, grass stains on her knees, leaves in her hair. "Mom! Mom! Watch this!" "Mom." The word still made my heart skip. She did a cartwheel, wobbly, imperfect, absolutely perfect. "Did you see? Did you see?" "I saw," I laughed, catching her as she stumbled. "That was amazing." Jake joined us, breathing hard, his face flushed with joy. "Tell us the story again." "Which story?" "Ours," Lily said, settling into my lap, even though she was getting too big for it. "Tell us how you saved us." I looked at these 2 miracles and smiled through tears I didn't try to hide. Once upon a time, there were 2 kids who everyone said were broken, but they weren't broken at all. They were just waiting for someone to see them, really see them. "And then you came," Jake said, leaning against my shoulder. "And then I came, and I saw you, and I loved you, and I refused to give up." "Because you're brave," Lily said. "We were all brave," I corrected, kissing her forehead. "Especially you 2. You held on when everything was dark. You never stopped fighting, even when no one knew you were fighting. You're the bravest people I've ever known." They snuggled closer, one on each side. "I love you, Mum," Lily whispered. "Love you too, Mum," Jake echoed. "I love you both," I said, and the words felt like prayer. More than all the stars in the sky, more than anything in the world. It was our saying. The thing I'd whispered to them every night when they couldn't respond, couldn't move, couldn't show me they heard. I'd said it anyway, believing they were listening, believing they were still there. And they had been. They'd always been there, trapped and waiting and hoping for someone to find them. The sun was setting, painting the sky those same orange and pink colours from that first day by the pond, the day I'd seen Lily's tears and known the truth that would change all our lives. James came out, and the twins ran to him. He scooped them both up, making them shriek with laughter, and caught my eye over their heads. So much passed between us in that look. Gratitude, love, understanding. We'd all saved each other in the end. That night, tucking them in, Lily grabbed my hand. "Mum, do you ever think about how different things could have been?" "What do you mean, baby?" "If you hadn't come, if you'd given up like the others, if you'd been like everyone else who didn't see us." I sat on her bed, brushing hair from her face. "But I didn't give up. I couldn't. The moment I saw you both, I knew I'd fight for you with everything I had. Why? Why did you care when nobody else did?" I thought about it. About that first day. About all the reasons I should have walked away. Because I saw myself in you. I know what it's like when people think you're nothing, when they look right through you like you don't exist. And I promised myself that if I ever saw someone else being treated that way, I'd fight for them. The way I wished someone had fought for me. "You're the best person I know," Lily whispered, tears in her eyes. "No, baby. I'm just someone who loved you enough to try. That's all any of us can do. Love each other and try." In Jake's room, he asked the same question differently. "Mum, what if you'd been too scared? What if you'd been afraid of losing your job or getting in trouble?" "Then I would have lost something more important," I told him. "I would have lost you. And that was never an option. From the moment I met you, you were mine to protect." James waited in the hallway. "The kids are asking questions. They deserve answers. They deserve to know their own story. You gave them more than a story, Grace. You gave them a life. We gave them a life together, and they gave us one too." Some stories end with revenge, with the bad guys suffering and the good guys winning. This one ended with something better, something real. With two children who learned to walk and talk and live. With a father who learned to be brave. With a woman who learned she was worth more than anyone had told her. And with a family built not from blood or law or tradition, but from choice, from love. From the simple act of seeing someone everyone else had decided was invisible, I was Grace. The nobody who became everything. The girl who saved two children and found herself in the process. And I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Dear friends, what you just saw is only one part of the bigger picture. In the next video, I'll reveal the twist no one saw coming, so make sure you're here when it drops. I would love to know what you would have done in this situation. Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every single comment. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. And don't forget to give this video a like, hit the subscribe button and share with someone who needs to hear it.